Day 6 of on-field training camp action for your Miami Dolphins. We're going to be talking about all of that today. Big thing is, first one I get to do this offseason. I was gone all of last week on a family vacation, so I do apologize for missing training camp reports 1 through 5. I know most of you all understand out there. Family time is great. Happy to disconnect, happy to spend some time with the kids, the wife, the extended family. That was all good and all, but I tell you what, it is great to get back to Miami Dolphins football. So yes, I missed a lot. The Jaylen Ramsey news, shit, that sucks. Was really excited to see this defense get taken to the next level. Still a lot of hope out there in regards to our secondary with the pieces we have, but man, that news sucks. Signing Eli Apple, the continued Dalvin Cook speculation. The list goes on and on and on. But yes, I am back, and I should be back for the remainder of everything. So if you haven't done so already, make sure you are getting subscribed. Continue to give your thoughts in the comment section on your thoughts on camp, on the Dolphins in general. But how I do these specific training camp report videos, I basically like to go position by position with the highlights, with the noteworthy news items, the news of the day, the plays of the day, position by position through it all. I try to keep these videos under 10 minutes. I like to get you in, get you fed with the news, and get you on with your day. So if this goes over 10, blame my long intro because of my extended time away. But with that, let's start with the quarterbacks. Tua Tagovailoa had some availability with the media today. He was talking about his helmet. The NFL geared a new helmet towards quarterbacks kind of specifically, but a helmet that can help kind of deal with head issues, concussion issues. Said that he's been wearing it in practice, continues to hopefully plan on using that through the games, which I say, yeah, if the technology is there, go ahead and do it. So long story short, Tua continuing to use that new helmet. Travis Wingfield, Miami Dolphins podcast, noted that Tua had one of his literally best throws of all of camp in today's action, stepped up to evade some pressure, fired it into Jaylen Waddle for about 20 yards, right in between the linebacker and the safety. You can probably even just vision that throw in your head. It's what Tua was doing all of last year. One of those timing throws where, hey, there's the window. I'm going to anticipate where the defenders are going to be. I'm plugging it in there for 20 yards to Jaylen Waddle. And one thing about Tua that, just like I said, I've been gone for over a week. I haven't had like the right opportunity to share this information, but on a weekly basis, it's Tua and it's McDaniel, and they're meeting with Vic Fangio. Like I said, once a week. And what are they talking about? Well, it's about what Tua is seeing. It's about reading defenses. It's about different schemes. So what better way for Tua to continue to learn and just kind of help with the evolution of this offense than working with the number one play caller for this team, the head coach, the offensive coordinator, and Mike McDaniel. And then being able to kind of not only pick the brain of Vic Fangio, but Vic Fangio being able to say, hey, what are you seeing? And watching those videos from the helmet cams and say, well, this is the defensive play call, or this is the defensive scheme, and being able to learn from that. So we can't underestimate just what's not only just going on the field, but what's happening off of the field as well, which is huge. And I'm glad I get to share a nugget like that with you guys as well. Moving on to Mike White, noted for a solid day, completions to Tyreek on a slant, had a mid-range completion to Cedric Wilson, had a deeper slant to Braxton Berrios, and a quick hitter to Robbie Chosen. Onto the running backs, Jeff Wilson was indeed back at practice today. Missed days 4 and 5 of on-field action due to injury. He was back today. Alec Ingold caught a longer wheel route from Tua. However, all the media in attendance said, if this was an in-game action, in-game play, Deshaun Elliott had just an opportunity to, what I think he said in his media availability, basically could have put him to sleep. Could have at least potentially dislodged the ball there, but regardless, goes down as a completion in training camp. And then probably the play of the day, undrafted free agent running back out of BYU, one of the guys that most people just kind of forget is even on the roster just because of the pecking order, his inability to likely make the team is what I'm trying to say. But Chris Brooks rips off a 95-yard touchdown run on the last play of practice. Practice actually had to get moved inside due to weather. But that was the last play of practice. Left side of the offensive line opens up massive hole. Chris Brooks makes a couple of moves, takes it the rest of the way to the house. Wide receivers. Numerous beat writers claiming this was Tyreek's number one day of practice, his top day of practice. I think it was Omar Kelly that had put an article out a couple of days ago saying like Tyreek just doesn't look like himself. It's training camp. He's got the the marina incident probably on his mind. He's been in the league for what, 8-ish years now. I'm not going to freak out over 5 days of practice from Tyreek Hill. I'm sure Tyreek is still Tyreek, and him and Jaylen Waddle are going to continue to be one of the NFL's best duo. So I'm not worried about that article. Please don't be worried as well. Notable chunk yardage completions for both Tua and Skylar Thompson, and his longest play was actually on like a 5 to 6 yard catch from Mike White. Then Tyreek housed it the rest of the way, 80 yards for a touchdown. Ced Wilson also got 3 catches during team drills, but this was widely considered the trio's best day. Tua, Waddle, and Hill. Hill had 4 catches in team drills. Jaylen Waddle had 6 catches in team drills. Beat writers once again saying it looked surgical. Didn't really have anything on the tight end, so we'll scoot to the offensive line. Teron Armstead in pads today, did stretch with the team today. As you know, likely by now, he was activated from the PUP list on Monday. No 11-on-11 work, no 7-on-7 work to my knowledge anyways, but good to see him active and possibly being able to practice when at least they want him to. You know he's going to get a lighter workload. He even said it in his media availability, like, I get more out of joint practices than I do out of preseason games because, quite frankly, I don't play in preseason games. We need Teron Armstead to be healthy more than we need him to be in these practices right now. Austin Jackson, credited with a pancake today against Jaylen Phillips, so that is somewhat impressive as well. But the biggest thing from the offensive line today is that as a group, they did not allow a single sack, which is much better than the report from what was it, day 4, where they gave up a dozen. So no sacks today. They did give up pressures to both Bradley Chubb and Christian Wilkins. We'll talk a little bit more about them as we go along here. But the starting offensive line had some conversations today as well, talking about what that starting offensive line looks like, how it kind of projects. And as of right now, it's exactly what we thought. Left to right, it's Teron Armstead, Liam Eichenberg, Connor Williams, Robert Hunt, and then Austin Jackson. And right now, it's because it's kind of like, can Isaiah Wynn crack a spot here? And right now, they see him still continuing to be in that backup left guard role, potential backup swing tackle role as well. But happy with what they've seen from him. And speaking of happy of what they've seen as well, Kendall Lamb, really happy with his on-field performance so far in that backup role to Teron Armstead, who obviously, like I said, hasn't been participating in these team drills. Kendall Lamb did have a couple of false starts. I know today, and then I believe he did in day 5 as well. But outside of that, liking what they're seeing there. Defensive line, edge rushers, like I said, it's rinse, wash, repeat with Christian Wilkins. Noted for another run stop at the line of scrimmage, just like what we saw last year during camp every single day. And then during the NFL season, every single week. Linebacker news. We got a decent amount of linebacker news today. Channing Tindall, a name that we'd all love to hear and hear a little bit more of, blew up a screenplay that was designed for Savon Ahmed, noted for solid play basically all day today, which is a big improvement from his first few practices. Like I said, I've had a couple of conversations as well. Didn't really get off to a great start for Channing Tindall. Not talking about just last year, but so far the first few days of camp, his last couple of days have been remarkably improved. Let's put it that way. David Long, a very welcomed addition in free agency this year, knowing how much help we need at linebacker. Another solid day. Probably had his practice of training camp so far in day 5. I didn't get to talk much about that one. Numerous hits at the line of scrimmage in that one. Had some nice big hits in that day's practice. Noted with another stop at the line of scrimmage after getting around an Austin Jackson block today. And then another undrafted free agent, Aubrey Miller, tackling the run game after a 3-yard game. Once again, Channing Tindall getting credited with blowing up the lead blocker on that one. And we'll round things out with the secondary. So those who didn't practice, obviously Jalen Ramsey being out till November, December. Keon Crossan didn't practice. Bennett Williams didn't practice. And then you had Brandon Jones and Trill Williams, who were still sporting the red no contact jerseys. Good to at least see them off the PUP list, actually, and playing and actually getting some run here with the team, just still in that no contact jersey. Speaking of jersey colors, though, Javon Holland, rocking the orange jersey. A lot of people thought David Long kind of got snubbed on that one, but regardless, it was Javon Holland rocking the orange jersey today. And Deshaun Elliott giving him some kudos as well. He met with the media and said that Javon Holland is kind of his call for breakout player of the year. And with that, I do actually have a video today. It's of a one-on-one drill. It's Berrios versus Holland. And Holland gets a little bit of the best of him here. You can see that Tua, it's a decent ball. It needs to be thrown out a little bit further, but regardless, it's a nice PBU by Javon Holland there on a one-on-one drill to Berrios. So like I said, could have been a better throw, but regardless, end of the day, it's Javon Holland also making plays out of our secondary. So we'll take that. Jaylen Ramsey made an appearance actually today at practice as well, was down on the field. They showed him with his crutches. He was seen coaching up Cam Smith. So despite being out, and I know a lot of people are saying Byron Jones wasn't doing stuff and Will Fuller wasn't doing stuff when they were out. Nice to see how invested Jaylen Ramsey continues to be despite his injury out there coaching up the rookie. And speaking of the rookie, the team loves this dude. The team absolutely loves this guy. Credited with another pass breakup today, and numerous beat writers and everyone saying if you're keeping stats on that actual statistic through training camp so far, it's Cam Smith by a landslide. And I know the team is just, like I said earlier, they're in love with what he is bringing to the table right now. They are absolutely thrilled with his ability to want to cover the team's best receivers. He's not scared about the opportunity of going up against Tyreek Hill or Jaylen Waddle. And matter of fact, he wants to do that. So we love that. The team is going to try to protect him. They don't want him to get his confidence shook or anything. But if there's one thing I feel pretty good about, I don't think you're shaking Cam Smith's confidence. That dude is loaded with it. And the note I'm going to end on, no highlight-worthy plays today from Kader Kohou, but did want to share that he's likely going to see, probably after the Ramsey injury and what's going on with Nick Needham, he can play both boundary and slot, but you're likely going to see him taking and getting more of his reps in the slot, while Cam Smith, who can also play some boundary and slot, is probably going to be shifted more to just boundary now because of Jaylen Ramsey's injury and because of Nick Needham continuing to be out. So like I said, not too much news there, but worth sharing regardless. But that is what I've got for today. I went over the time that I wanted to, so I'm already a liar here, but I said that's because of the long intro today. But that's what I have got for today, Dolphins fans. And until next time, fins up.